Hi, I want to give you a short introduction into an AI agent use case which is dealing with RFQ events. So let's imagine you have a team of people working together to answering an RFQ for an assembly of multiple injection molding parts. So in our little example here, we have a metallic mesh, we have the injection molding parts, and we have 4 screws. So it's kind of a simple example, but the team actually behind this RFQ event is kind of like a big team. So you have the RFQ manager who actually is there for managing the requests and also like coordinating the teams. And we have actually 5 engineering teams sitting here. So starting from the left, the first engineering team is able to access the PLM databases. Maybe you have some parametric files in there, something you can deliver. So you can just like download the BOM, download the materials and all of these applications and data which is actually inside of your company. Then usually we have one assemble analyst in the team, which is able to have expert knowledge on joining techniques, on gluing, on clipsing, whatever is relevant for your product. We also most of the time have a purchasing analyst in the team. So this is like a strategic role where you can define on, is it a single vendor strategy, multiple vendor, should we source it in different regions, and these kind of questions. Usually also cost engineering is involved. So costing analysts can actually do should costing analysis and therefore might be using expert software tools like Facton, for example. And we also want to have somebody in the team who really can like draw CAD files and maybe measure some wall thicknesses or cost relevant CAD features. So in order to answer this RFQ, all of these teams or people need to work and to be aligned together. So let's have a look how this could be done by agents. So first, we want to look into the graph actually, which is kind of representing the team structure. So in our case, we try to remodel the real organization. So starting with an RFQ manager, then you can see actually we have like a commodity analyst here, the CAD analyst, and each of these analysts actually have expert tools that they need to connect to. So might be CATIA, for example, as CAD software, might be a database, might be any kind of expert knowledge or workflows where they need to have a real ground truth knowledge. So let's ask a system first simple question, how can you help me? And now on the right side here, you can actually see the traces. So the communication of the agent inside. And we see, well, the manager can answer this question alone. So he talks to us, yes, I can have some geometric analysis. I can do supply chain assessments. I have cost analysis capabilities. So basically he knows his team and kind of can explain what the team is capable of doing. So in this little example, we just want to give you a short idea on how such an RFQ event could look like. So we ask a system, can you please come up with a design for 300 cubic meters per hour flow rate, kind of a pressure drop and a mass around 250 gram. And you already can see on the right side here how the different teams are now interacting. So we have the commodity analyst designing, okay, let's download all the BOMs and the things that we have in the PLM database. Then we want to have some CAD analysis, for example, to measure if real the flow rate is capable of the thing or the wall thicknesses are capable of like succeeding the requirements. We can see now the assembly analyst is kind of like giving a joining technique recommendation, handing it over to the costing team. So the agents really interact without like a predefined rule or predefined order. And the manager kind of steers this team in order to answer the request for the best behavior. And now actually at the final part, so we are summarizing it and we get the result back from the RFQ manager, which kind of summarizes the system configurations, wall thicknesses, the validated and conformed performance parameters. Here you can see manufacturing aspects. They are proposing a joining technique, and you also get the prices, which are ground truth should costing prices because they're kind of made by the should costing software. So this is a little example on how such an agentic system can support you with RFQ events. And the good thing is you can really interact with the systems like you would do with real humans. So for example, let's ask a system, please compare 2 quotes for us. Maybe a low volume, only 30 parts, or a high volume, 10,000 parts. And the interesting thing is now, if you look to the right to those traces again, that the system dynamically decides whom to call. And in this example, actually, the manager says, well, I need to have 2 times called my costing analyst because he needs or she needs to do like 2 different scenarios. But I don't actually need to call my CAD expert team because the geometry hasn't changed, because also like the requirements haven't changed. You also can see that the answer is here in 1 minute 40 instead of the full question of 4 minutes of the whole team. And so we get the different scenarios, different prices in here, lead times. and so on. And this is really something where you can try to interact with the system and try to be the decision maker and let the agents do the heavy lifting. So thank you very much for your interest in our agentic systems. And if you want to have a live demonstration on this, feel free to just reach out to us. Thank you very much.